But before that, all the formulas you need to know. So basically, the gradient formula, which is m is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or delta y by delta x. But please take note that when you use this formula, you have to plug in the coordinates this way because it's basically the same thing, just more simplified. So that's the gradient formula. Next, we have the distance formula. Between 2 points. Which is d, which is distance, equals square root of x2 minus x1 all squared plus y2 minus y1 all squared. So here is the distance formula. And if I reduce the screen and finally we have the midpoint formula, which is midpoint I don't actually know the variable of midpoint, but let's just call it midpoint for now. I'll clarify by the end of the video. Midpoint is x2 plus x1 by 2, or it can be swapped the other way around, x1, so not this. x1 minus x2 by plus x2 by 2, comma y1 plus y2 by 2. And that's the midpoint formula. So here are the formulas. I'm now gonna give you some problems. Again, make the background grid. And I'm just gonna draw a coordinate plane. Here and there. Your first task is to label all of these. And LE. Label all points. Not all points, sorry. And you can pause right now and do that. I'll wait for 5 seconds. Okay, so it should have gone like this, y and x, and this time I'm going to draw the origin without forgetting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and if you drew more, you can write more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the y, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5. It doesn't have to be in order as I'm doing. You could have done it in any order. Minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, and minus 5, minus 6, 2 for this case, in the x-axis. And now your next task is to find, firstly, uh, okay, so the slope of okay, just gonna undo the slope of this line midpoint of points of these 2 points. So I'm just marking the points in green color, and distance of these 2 points. And I'm marking the distance points in red color. And please note that the points are in exact, like in whole numbers, so it's not in decimals. And so you can solve this. I'll keep the screen still for 5 seconds, and I'll wait for you. Okay, so the slope. Um, let's just move this a bit. Firstly, let's solve the slope. The slope is going to be, you could have either done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 by 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 3 by 2 simplified. Or you could have used, I prefer using the other formula, y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. You could have done it with any 2 points. I'm just using the points for the green one, but you could have used any 2 points. And let's say I just stick with the green one, and the coordinates are -2 comma -1 and 2 comma 5. Then it's going to be okay, let's label this x2 and y2 and x1 and y1 to make it simpler. It's going to be -1 minus 5 by -2 minus 2, and so it's going to be -6 by -4, which gives you 3 by 2 simplified, because these two cancel each other out, and this gives divided by 2, this gives 3 and this gives 2, and so that's the slope. Now let's find the let's keep that in view, and let's now find the midpoint, which is, I'm gonna quickly midpoint. So this is how you write the formula down. X midpoint comma y m is, so I told you I would figure it out by the end of the video. So it's going to be x1 plus x2 by 2 comma y1 plus y2 by 2. And now if we just sub in the values, it's 2 comma 5, so 2 plus -2, so it's going to be 2 minus 2 by 2, comma, right there, 5 minus 1 by 2. Which gives us 0 by 2, comma, 5 minus 1 is 4 by 2, which is 0, comma, 2. And if we just move up, we can see that the midpoint is, so just 3 up and 2 side we get here, and again 3 up and 2 side we get here, so we can see that the midpoint is here. I'm just going to redraw the red one so we know where to look at. And finally, we need to find the distance between the two red points, which are, let's name this A and B. And to avoid confusion, I'm going to write here A is -4, comma, -4, and B is 0, comma, 2. So the midpoint between the green points. So the distance formula is, we'll call this x1, y1, x2, y2. The square root of x1, x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared, which is square root of 0 minus 0 plus 4, because minus minus gives plus, squared plus 2 plus 2 plus 4, again minus minus gives plus, squared, which gives us, again we can simplify another layer, it's 4 squared plus 6 squared, which is 16 plus 36. And if we do our quick maths here, 16 plus 36, 6 6 are 12, 6 plus 6 is 12, 3 4 5 5 is 52, and 7 7s are 49, and 8 8s are 64. So the square root of 52 is as simple as it can get, or if we use a calculator, we can see that square root of 52 is approximately 7.21, and we can't just leave it at that, so we need to write units. If it were given that it was centimeters or meters, you could have written that, but right now we're just writing units. Okay, so I hope this video is helpful for you, and thank you. Please subscribe to the Bottled Awesomeness, and I'll see you next time.